Wrestling fans from around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Maurice.
And I'm Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
It took him a second.
Always does.
Before we get to this great full-length episode of Memories and Legends, check out some of our great friends you can help support the cause to keep more Memories and Legends coming your way.
San Diego on Thursday, January 24. Be a part of the hype as NXT Live brings the action. See NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, North American Champion Ricochet, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Maurice, and many more of the hottest NXT superstars. It's NXT Live in San Diego on Thursday, January 24th. Tickets are available.
Wrestling fans, check out the brand new lapel pin from our friends at Crimson Mask. Inspired by Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, it's Bang! 316. Only $8 each or 2 for $12. If you think it makes a great holiday gift, give me a hell yeah. Get yours today at crimsonmask.bigcartel.com.
He is the People's Champion. The Brahma Bull. The Great One. And this...
Finally, The Rock has come back!
...is his story. Journey alongside the millions. In this definitive guide to...
The most electrifying man in sports and entertainment!
See The Rock.
It's just a man!
Like you've never seen him before.
But The Rock is cooking!
The World of The Rock. Available now.
Grand Rapids on Monday, February 11th. Monday Night Raw returns live with a massive main event after a shocking betrayal.
Oh my God!
Seth Rollins collides with Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Plus, Finn Balor battles Drew McIntyre one-on-one. And don't miss Ronda Rousey and many more. It's WWE Raw live in Grand Rapids, Monday, February 11th. Tickets and ringside packages are available.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Maurice.
And I'm WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
Before Tony Atlas takes you on yet another trip down professional wrestling memory lane, check this out. Wrestling fans in the Boston area, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas will be back in studio live Friday night, March the 1st, for another Memories and Legends television taping. You're humbly invited to join us. Admission, as always, is absolutely free. Tony will be available for autographs and posed photos for a nominal fee, and what should be a fun night for not only the fans, but for myself and Tony, too. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com for complete event information. Don't forget, this Royal Rumble weekend, we have not one but 2 full-length, brand-new Memories and Legends episodes, along with some announcements on some cool places you can meet Tony over the next couple of months. Talk about interaction, you're going to get it at its best. If you're one of the hundreds of thousands of fans around the globe enjoying Tony on Memories and Legends, you can support us by subscribing to our enhanced Patreon channel at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, full-length studio shoot interview DVDs, full-screen ad-free Memories and Legends and Wrestling Insiders with Tony Atlas, MWF Wrestling coming soon, and so much more. Also, check out the great wrestling merchandise on our eBay page. Links will be available throughout the program. Please like, share, and subscribe. We need as much fan support as humanly possible to keep legends like Tony working and paying the bills. If we can't pay the bills, we're not going to have a show anymore. Again, we look forward to seeing everyone here live in studio March the 1st. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. I'm Dan Maurice, joined by my Hall of Fame co-host,
Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer, Tony Atlas. Yay!
Give yourself a pat on the back, Tony. They all love you. All right, if you could reach. Tony, A lot of the fans have been sending us messages on Twitter at MWF Project X, over 50,000 great fans. They want to know what you think about right now the new potential Major League Startup group owned by the Vachon family that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars NFL football team, called All Elite Wrestling, with Cody Rhodes in the Young Bucks team that has really taken the wrestling world by storm in recent years. Looks like they're going to make a go at it as a national company. What do you think about the potential here?
Any wrestler that perform in the ring and in the office too is in for doom. When Jerry the King Lawler was running Memphis, Tennessee, he would let no wrestler get above him. When the Von Erichs was running Texas, world class, they allowed no wrestler to get above them. When Dusty Rhodes was the booker, Cody's father, in Florida, he let no wrestler get above him. The only way that Cody could really make this work, he have to retire from the ring.
He's a little young for that.
That's the problem. Jerry was young too. Von Erich was young too.
Right.
The problem is Cody is not going to let any wrestler get bigger than him. And by doing that, the reason every promoter that never wrestled became, wrestlers make the worst promoters. The reason is because the wrestlers are not just looking at things from a business point of view, they look at it as a wrestler point of view. So they will always keep themselves above everyone else. And they will rob, and I love him to death, I'm not knocking him. How can Hulk Hogan go to WCW and WCW go down? How can Hulk Hogan go to ECW, what was that group he went out to WCW? TNA. And TNA go out of business. How is that possible?
Well, they didn't quite go out of business.
Well, they went down.
They went down,
They went down. Because Hogan was not going to let AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, or any of the great stars they had there at the time.
Great athletes.
The Just Incredible, and all these people, he was not going to put them above him. And it happened in every territory that I have seen. So I say they got a great thing going as long as Cody allowed the other wrestlers to reach their full potential. And whereas in the past, that always been a problem when the promoter, the owner, the booker, the head man, sit there and watch a match that is more exciting to the people than the match he gave. So now he's thinking of a way to get rid of, or to bring that guy down a notch. Where what made Vince and Jim Barnett and the Crockett's such great, where Vern Gagne did it with his son.
Right. And look at what the disaster that turned into.
He wasn't going to let nobody be bigger than Greg Gagne.
Right.
And he had a guy like Bruiser Brody, the Warlord, Animal and Hawk, had all this great talent, Nick Bockwinkel.
And the guy looked like he was about 160 pounds, dressed
beating
up as
everybody.
Rambo, yeah.
He was my tag team partner when I went there. Come on, they were beating everybody, beat Bruiser Brody. Now when a 150-pound guy beat Bruiser Brody just because his name is Gagne, that's what ended up happening with guys. You can't, see Vince, he only go into the ring to put you over. Vince been in the ring many times. He never won a match. See?
He won a few, but
I don't know of anyone. He got beaten by Trump, got his hair
beat
tied.
Undertaker.
The Undertaker beat him.
He beat Undertaker.
He beat Undertaker.
He did.
I didn't see that one.
Buried alive. Survivor Series 03.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Well, he didn't win many.
No, but he did it. But the reason he got big because he was not in the ring.
Right.
But if he had become a wrestler like he wanted to when he was young, WWF would never been as big as it is because Vince, there'll be no Bruno, there'll be no Pedro, there'll be no Tony Atlas, no Junkyard Dog, no King Kong Bundy. It'd just be Vince.
Vince, yeah.
See, that's what happened.
All right, well, Tony, let me throw out a few thoughts about this new promotion. You have right now, again...
Oh, they do good at the beginning.
Let me run it through. Let me share my thoughts with you, and then you can respond. You have billionaires running this organization.
Who?
The billionaires, the Khan family. They own the Jacksonville Jaguars in the NFL. They've made an offer that was accepted by Chris Jericho that Jericho said was for more money than WWE ever paid him in 1 year. You have Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks that have been part of a faction that certainly brought New Japan more popularity here in the United States. They elevated the game of Ring of Honor, where it seemed to have more passionate fans behind them. The Hot Topic stores in the mall and the Pro Wrestling Tees online realtor, their best-selling items, they were able to get into stores in the mall that previously only WWE licensees could get their T-shirts into. And they were able to, for one night at least, sell out the Sears Center in Chicago for a show that they pretty much were the people behind, called All In back in September. As a matter of fact, as we discussed previously, Ring of Honor and New Japan are doing a joint show that's already sold out at Madison Square Garden on WrestleMania weekend. That's a lot of positive things going for them. No one can argue that. At the same time, let's look at it like this. Ring of Honor doesn't run a full-time schedule. They average, outside of maybe a couple of big pay-per-views a year and the ones they piggyback off WWE for WrestleMania, 1,000, 1,500 people. Their TV show isn't on a regular time, a regular channel anywhere. They've never been responsible for a television rating. The pay-per-view numbers that they've been on are nothing substantial. They never did much to elevate what is Ring of Honor's and New Japan's version of their WWE network. So while there are a ton of positives going for them, at the same time, where, outside of their merchandising for themselves, where is their track record of being a great value to a wrestling promotion?
This is what every new organization had to face. There was one question I used to get asked all the time. All the time. Is wrestling fake?
I don't think anyone's asking that in 2019, though, Tony.
Exactly. They hadn't asked that in the last 20 years.
Right.
Because here's the reason why. In the older days, if somebody asked me to put you over, the first 5 or 6 minutes, I shoot with you. I could do that then. That's why I tell you, watch that match me and Paul Nordor. I want to let Paul know that he can't whoop me. I did it to Randy Savage. I did it to Hogan. I got fired today for that. Now they got a strip that to go by. They don't have a foundation. Wrestling like drug dealing. You give them the good dope first. And once they get hooked, they take anything.
Yeah.
It's like cigarette. You give them a cigarette, now they got that nicotine habit. WWE have a foundation. People believe in the product. There will be other products come along, often imitated, but never duplicated. Their fan base goes all the way back. They had not done anything to bring believability to them. The people believe in the WWE because the guys before Cena and all them guys made people believe in the sport. That's why they asked the question, is wrestling fake? Because some of the matches were shoots. You could shoot with a guy out there if you want. I didn't have to do what you want me to do.
Right.
I did to you what I wanted to do to you. If I wanted to work with like Andre, you let them put, like they had the Big Show against Stone Cold. And Stone Cold go to give him that stunner. I could hear Andre there. Hey, what you doing, boss? What are you trying to do? Andre don't take bumps. I drop kick Andre. I bounced off him. You know when he come on to me? He go, boo, boo, boo. Hey, what the fuck was that? See the difference?
Yeah.
Now, Andre today, we have to lay down and let horse swallow squash him.
Well, who knows how he
But
used.
Vince could do that
Yep.
because he built a foundation. The problem with these new groups, they try to pick up from where Vince is. They never built a foundation.
So they need to build the foundation for the house before they move the furniture in.
They have to get people to believe in their product, not just accept WWE rejects.
Well, really, at this point, there really are no WWE rejects.
Well, here's how you get people to believe.
It's a grassroots effort right now that has led to success, at least in Chicago.
Here's how we did it. You go to jail now for how we did it.
All right.
You go to any WWE show, take any old timer, Tito, Tony Atlas, any of us. Guess what you would notice? We're the biggest guys in the dressing room.
That's a problem. It looks like a lot of times
They don't look like wrestlers.
almost like Little League Baseball compared
don't
to
look
Major League
like
Baseball.
wrestlers. They don't look like wrestlers.
It's the analogy that I made about Bad News Brown.
Yes, yes. If you see him in real life, he's a shrimp.
About 5'10".
5'10" and what, about 180 pounds, 170 pounds.
Great athlete, but he's not a very big guy. And he's
They
not
wouldn't
a very
even let him in the business in my day.
not a very believable
They
wrestler.
would not even let him in the business in my day. I don't care what type of shooter it was. He would have been a referee. We had a lot of tough guys like him, but they were too small to be a wrestler, so they made them referees.
Exactly. What
If
happened,
you was
Tony? Where are
200
all the big guys nowadays? Where are they?
Well, what happened was when Vince got rid of all the territories, he left one place to go. So the big guys, they would go and do other stuff now. They're not interested in being a wrestler because there's no room. So the only guy, like if you open a wrestling school right now, you may get one big guy to come to the wrestling school. Everybody else is 150 freaking pounds.
Right. I think that's part of the problem
That's
right now with the
they don't-
overall popularity in
See, when you
general of the
walk
sport.
past the fans, I learned this from Jerry the King Lawler. He had this wrestler that was real sharp, was a good wrestler. What
Bill
was it?
Dundee.
Dundee. And he was selling autographs. What's being to tell this story? He was there, Jimmy Hart. And he said, where's Dundee? And Jimmy said, he's over there selling autographs. And Jerry looked and said, tell him to stand up on the step. And he said, why is that? He said, I don't want people to see how small he is. He said, wrestlers always look bigger than life.
Right.
What made the people believe in us is when they saw us. When I walked out that ring and I walked by people, when Andre walked by people, oh my God.
To have one Rey Mysterio is fine. It's great, a character
But
like
not
that.
the whole freaking
Not
dressing
a
room.
promotion of
And John
smaller
Law,
guys.
and John Law now used to tell me that all the time. He said they starving for big guys. I go to independent shows, and I tell guys, I said, you know why they made me a baby face? They said, no. I said, I was too small to be a heel.
small.
To
Too
be
small,
a heel.
right.
Too small to be a heel. When you see guys like Blackjack Mulligan, Angela Gamoska, I mean, you know, these were the superstar Billy Graham. Everybody was over 6 feet. Pusky was under 6 feet, but Pusky also weighed 260 pounds.
Big guy, yeah.
He was 250 at that height, 240, 250. SD, even though he lost every night, SD was 275 pounds. Superstar Billy Graham was 290. All these big guys, they got rid of all the big guys. So, see, when people look at wrestlers, no matter how you perform, we get most of our message from what we see. You may be the biggest chump that the world ever see, can't fight your way out of a wet paper bag. But if you look like you could do it, like when Ken Patero lifted against superstar Billy Graham, Patero was stronger because he was an Olympic champion, and Billy Graham was a bodybuilder, so he did reps, not weight. And so when he beat superstar, people say it wasn't for real because the way superstar looked. I was managing Mark Henry, as big as Mark Henry is. So Vince thought But people were telling Vince, I want Tony to kick his butt. They want me to beat up Mark Henry. Now, why would they think I could beat Mark Henry?
Bigger.
They looking at me. They go by what they see. They said, look at the size of his freaking arms. I was 285 pounds when I was managing Mark. And I remember Teddy Long said, that's the first time I see where the manager is in better shape than the wrestler. See? Vince used to have a crate, where you know, soda crate,
yeah,
that he would have wrestlers that were not taller than him stand on it.
Yep.
To make them look taller. He would walk around barefooted in house shoes so that he'd make the wrestler look taller.
And it was effective.
Right. Now he get all these, and when you walk by the people, like I saw the guy we were talking about, that yes guy.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, shaking hands with this kid, and the kid is his height. See, when they meet you in person, that's why Vince keep them separated.
They used to say when you'd go and meet a wrestler, wow, I can't believe how big he was. Nowadays, it's I can't believe how small he is.
They're all little people.
At the same time.
And that's the thing with Cody. They look at more at the high spot guys, and they're not looking at believability.
There are some diehard fans that love it, though, to be fair.
Well, they like wrestling. They hook. They're like, I like Camel cigarette, but the store don't have Camel. So I get Marlboro. I hate Marlboro, but I want a cigarette. They hook. You can't go by that. They're not building believability. When some Williams is bigger than all your wrestlers, something wrong with it. Serena.
I thought you said Sir William Williams.
Serena.
Oh, Serena Williams. Okay.
She got more muscle than half of the WWE guys.
Well, you're right.
Now, when a tennis player got more muscle than a wrestler, or a baseball player got more muscle than a wrestler, the wrestlers and football players are supposed to be the monsters of monsters. It's a monster business.
Yeah.
Vince made it to a beauty contest.
Kevin Nash made a great point that it looks like an Abercrombie and Fitch catalog, and he's not wrong in most cases.
They don't look like wrestlers when you meet them. You're disappointed
You're
when
right.
you meet them.
You're right. They look like the average Joe.
That's what's going to hurt Cody, that will hurt TNA, that will hurt all of them. Because the people are able to see them in person. They say, look at this little... See, I took my wife to her first. She was 50 years old at the time. And I took her to her first independent show. And it wasn't Tony Roma's show, because Tony would never do this. I took her to an independent show up in Maine. And we driving back. I said, honey, what do you think of the show? You know what she said? Oh, hell, I could whoop half of them guys.
It's the reality of it.
That's what hurts the wrestling business today.
You can talk about how athletic someone like the Young Bucks might be, how popular they are right now, but I don't think the average person would see them and say
think that the Young Bucks
they're
could whoop
dangerous
them.
people. Exactly.
Nobody
exactly.
The person sitting there right is never going to believe that the Young Buck could whoop them in a street fight.
Well, I'll say this, Tony. For these folks to succeed would be a great thing for the wrestling business, perhaps to make the salaries a little bit more competitive, to make the creative process in all companies be a little bit more on edge to try and present the best product possible.
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing they have to start doing,
what?
Learning how to wrestle. They don't know how to wrestle.
You mean they know how to do spots?
How to wrestle, kind of like Chris Benoit, like Undertaker. Learn how to wrestle.
Cody Rhodes is very good.
He's a hell of an amateur.
Yeah?
But the rest of the group, they just do spots, and nobody sells it.
Oh, that's the biggest problem in all of wrestling, but you're right there. There is, the art of selling is lost on this generation.
Well, they're not working within the realm of believability.
Right. I agree
They work in the world of fantasy, what they call it, Power Ranger.
It's almost like a live video game.
Power Ranger.
Right, yep.
Okay, I'll give you an example of what happened to me. I was wrestling George Two-Ton Harris. And Ole Anderson was watching my match. He was the booker in Georgia. And I got up on the top rope, and you have seen this 1,000 times. There's a thing in the old day called ring psychology, which none of these guys learned anymore, because Vince got rid of all the guys that knew how to teach it.
Right.
In order for he could do what he wanted to do with his new thing. Right. He didn't like the psychology of the ring.
Right.
So what happened, I get up on the top rope. Now, how many times you see this?
Not many.
And you probably see, when I tell you what it is,
okay.
I punched the guy in the head 10 times and the people count. I get back, now here where you get tricked. It says you got to work the fans, don't let the fans work you.
You wanted to hear the count.
Where the
You
fans
wanted to get them
cheering.
popping.
Where they cheering, so you think you're doing a good thing because they cheering. You're going by the moment, not by the reaction.
But you're taking 10 knocks to get the guy off his feet.
But
You
I
have
hit him
big
10
hands.
times, but tell you what Otis said. I hit him in the head 10 times. The people cheer. So I think I'm doing something good. I go back to the dressing room, and you talk about the N-word. I got called the N-word more than once that night. He said, you dumb piece of you know what.
Yeah.
He said, you just smarten up everybody. And I said, what do you mean? He said, how much you bench press on TV the other day? I said, 500. He said, how big is your arms? I said, 23 inches. He said, now ask yourself, do you think that anybody out there could believe that a man that could bench press 500 pounds with 23-inch arm could hit another man in the head 10 times and not hurt him?
Makes
He
sense.
said, either you is the biggest wimp walking the face of the earth, or he's the toughest SOB fat piece of shit on earth. He said, if his wife hit him in the face 10 times, she believed a mark. And you want the fan to believe that you got less power in your punch than his wife? He said, from now on, I don't want you throwing more than 3 punches in a match. He said, that
Great
is
advice.
believable. Because most people, when they saw me then, they figured, man, if that guy will hit you, he'll kill you. That's what they thinking. Now I hit a guy 20 freaking times, don't even knock him down.
Right. Or they're down for a tenth of a second and they pop right
What made
back
Mike
up.
Tyson so popular so quick?
The knockout. All right, Tony. we're up.
Believability. Nobody the people with Jimmy Snuka at 270 pounds came off the top rope on top of him. They had a stretcher underneath the table to take the guy out. Now Jimmy Snuka come off on top of the guy get up and drop kick Jimmy.
It wouldn't even be the finish, yeah.
No believability. What they do now, you cannot believe it. It's impossible to believe that. When I saw Stone Cold stun a Big Show, when I saw Hog Swallow pin Mark Henry, who gonna believe that? He's saying this is fake.
The lack of believability, I think,
It's
is why
gone.
we have gone to the place we are now where there are so many millions of wrestling fans that don't watch wrestling at all anymore.
That's
I think
why wrestling fans
disappointing.
always say, you always hear them say, I like the old wrestler better than I like the new because we put believability into it.
All right, Tony, as we wrap up this segment, let me ask you real quick. Outside of believability, is there anything you'd say to Tony Khan as far as to what you would suggest to lead that company to the great success it perhaps could obtain if
Don't
it's a
put
profitable
rookies in
company?
charge.
Who?
Rookies.
Who should be in charge?
Everybody in charge don't know nothing about the business. They never been in the business when it was the business. He need to get some old folks in there, people that been around. There's a lot of great talent out here being wasted. A lot of great heads out here being. You know who I would put in charge of that?
Who?
Bill Eadie.
Yeah.
Bill
Great mind
Eadie.
for the business. You
A
might
guy
say-
that was around in the 70s, in the 80s, know the business, know this, know all the things, knows ring psychology. He know more about the business than anybody. There's a lot of great guys out there that can run the business. Tom Prichard is another one.
Yeah.
He's not involved. One thing I noticed about since I got on the independent show, I had never, except for one time in my life, worked for an independent show that had somebody working with them that was a veteran. Now, here where I give Tony Rumble credit for the reason he was so good. Tony would pick your brain. He would sit and talk to me and the Sheik all night. Tony had tapes of the old timer. He would watch them over and over and over and over and over. So when you talk to Tony, you think you're talking to Killer Kowalski.
And look at who he brought in. You're talking about during the height of WCW's popularity, Kevin Sullivan was booking, and he brought Kevin Sullivan. And then when WWF got hot again during the Attitude Era, he was bringing in Jim Cornette when Cornette was booking for WWF.
When he came
so
to
he
me,
surrounded himself with people that were nothing but successes.
He never told me what to do.
He trusted you.
No, he felt that would have been an insult. Tony would say, what do you want to do, Tony? Or what do you think of this? That's how he would put it. If he come up with an idea, he would say, Tony, what do you think of this? And if I told him, well, that part's good, oh yeah, that's good, here we go with it. There was no argument, no discussion, didn't feel bad about it. Now I walk in the dressing room, some young kid say, come over and tell me how to do the match. See? That is what is missing. They don't have no experience. The people that telling the people what to do got let, and like with the WWE now, God bless them that they're doing so well. Thank God that Triple H is in there. If he wasn't in there, it'd be freaking cuckoo land in that place. But I remember Vince started bringing back some of these old timers to be agents.
Yeah. Like
Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
Fit Finlay, because that's where they get their, you know, Finlay would tell you, man, you know, that's the shit, you smart. See, people know it's a work, but they don't want the wrestler to be the one to tell them it is.
It's like a magic trick.
They
you don't want to go to the movies and have Arnold Schwarzenegger tell you this is a special effect.
Kill the movie.
Absolutely.
So these guys, and they don't sell nothing, you know. Once the match is over, they get up and walk by the dressing room like nothing happened. That's why the women is overshadowing the guys, because they don't do unbelievable stuff. They sell.
Well, I might disagree with you a little on that.
Now, what do you see the women do that was unbelievable?
I think outside of maybe your top 6 or so in WWE, I think a lot of the offense is rather weak looking, not believable.
They're women. They're not supposed to be rough and tough looking at us.
If they can't if they can't use believable offense, it's kind of a turnoff.
Yeah, but we don't. That's what they could get away with when we can't. A man is expected to do like a woman is not. If you see a woman bench press 200 pounds, you think that's impressive. You see a man bench press 200 pounds, that's not impressive. That's the difference. They got a little bit more. In this case, they got a little bit more leeway than we do.
I'd like to see the women have their own show.
Yeah.
I think that would be good for the women. I think it'd be good for the business.
But I tell you, some of the women brought back that the guys couldn't bring back.
What's that?
Submission holds. They all use submission holds.
Well, Tony, as we're wrapping up this segment.
That's why I say they're more believable than the guy, because a submission hold is believable. But some of the bumps that guys give each other, and the guy gets up, the women don't do that.
Right. That's a good point.
They don't do that. I watched the other day where, what's her name, Becky Lynch dive off the rope while the girl was on the floor, and they lay there. If that was a guy, he would have got up, threw the guy into the freaking something, and rolled back in the ring.
Another 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. And strut around like nothing happened.
All right.
Unless that's why Undertaker is still there, because Undertaker matches are believable.
Right.
They're not better than Shawn Michaels match. They're not better than Drew McIntyre match. They're not better than John Cena match. But his matches, even though he do less, is more believable. Not once can you watch Undertaker and say that's fake. He make you think, well, maybe that's not. He could do that. That's why he's still there. He's the only one there that I know of, from what I have seen, that could do that, him and Triple H.
All right, wrestling fans.
To me, Triple H is a better performer than Taker. But Taker just over more. The gimmick helps him to get over. But Triple H, I saw Triple H with The Rock, and I've never seen The Rock in a good match. Except for at WrestleMania with Triple H. I mean, that thing, if you was there, it felt real. You could feel it in the crowd. That's where you know. You can't tell from TV. But in the crowd, you could feel it when he wrestled The Rock. That was the best, the first time The Rock ever worked. Not showmanship, but had to get down in the mud and work. And Triple H brought that out in him that day. And when he got that sludge hammer, I said, oh, I hope that hammer is gimmick. I was marking out. I told my wife, I said, I can't freaking believe these guys made me mark out for that match. It's just the way which Triple H grabbed that sludge hammer and look at his face and the body and just everything into that. To hit him with that hammer, he didn't hit him. But everybody, including me, thought he was going to whack his ass. He had me believing that he really going to hit this man. And I've been in the business a long time. That's how good Triple H is.
An old Walter Kowalski guy. There you go. All right, Tony, I certainly hope AEW is a great success. I'm sure you do too.
I do too, yes. I wish
It's
them
good
all
for
the
wrestling
best.
fans. It's good for the workers. It opens up more jobs. It creates more live events. It's great for everybody. Again, I think believability would go a long way, and I'd love to see not just in AEW, but every promotion, veterans brought back to try and teach the art of selling.
Ring
That's just my
psychology.
opinion.
I'll give y'all an example, and I'll let
right.
y'all go real quick.
Quickly.
I'm a 70-something-year-old man. I walk in the ring with a 24, 25-year-old man. The wrestling fan look at him, look at me, and say, Tony gonna kick your ass.
Fair enough. All right, wrestling fans, we'll be back after this brief timeout.
Riverside on Friday, January 25th. Be a part of the hype as NXT Live brings the action. See NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, North American Champion Ricochet, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Maurice, and many more of the hottest NXT superstars. It's NXT Live at Riverside on Friday, January 25th. Tickets are available.
See the moments
Generation X invades WCW.
you'll always remember like never before.
Occupy Raw has taken over.
With Raw, the first 25 years, packed with rare photos, profiles of your favorite superstars, and so much more. From the very first Raw to the 25th anniversary, it's the ultimate guide to WWE's flagship show. Raw, the first 25 years. Available now. They're ready. Ready to take their rightful place amongst the literary greats. Who, you ask?
The New Day.
That's who. It's the Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. It's the feel-good story of the rise of the New Day. Loaded with games, trivia, coloring pages, and so much more. The Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. Available now, online, or wherever books are sold.
Lafayette on Monday, February 18th. Feel the thrill as Monday Night Raw returns. Witness Seth Rollins collide with Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Plus, Finn Balor and Elias battle Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley in a tag team match. And don't miss Ronda Rousey and many more. It's WWE Raw live in Lafayette, Monday, February 18th. Tickets and ringside packages are available.
All right, wrestling fans, another interesting episode of Wrestling Insiders with my buddy, the Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Tony, again, we got so much big stuff happening. The Patreon campaign, we're adding more and more great content. Head on over to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. We have the graphic rotating throughout the episode. Meet us live. Come and join us live right here in this studio. Friday night, March the 1st. It's free admission. If you're in the Boston area, come visit us in Melrose. The following day, we'll be in Mohegan Sun, Uncasville, Connecticut. You going to do any gambling, Tony?
No.
All right. Well,
what I'm going to do at Mohegan Sun, I'm going to tell them right now, so if you don't like this, don't come.
All right.
I'm going to do a photo op. I'm going to walk around in my Superman suit. I'm going to take pictures with all the fans. I'm going to meet and greet. We're going to have a Q&A. So if you don't want to get talked to, if you don't want to take a picture with Tony Atlas, if you don't want to meet Tony Atlas, if you don't want to go and have one of the best time of your life, don't come.
And then on top of that, all roads lead to New York City.
All New York, we're going to be
Friday,
there
April
too.
5th, Saturday, April 6th. We're going to have a lot of fun at WrestleCon as part of WrestleMania weekend as the fans start to storm into MWF Studios. For the Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marotti. Don't forget, 2 big Memories and Legends episodes this weekend as part of NXT TakeOver in the Royal Rumble. One episode, we look at some legends we recently lost. In another episode, we flash back to Tony's time as Saba Simba in the WWF, as well as an aborted run in 1997. I'm Dan Marotti. You and yours be well. Good night.
Lowell on Saturday, February 9th. Be a part of the hype as NXT Live brings the action. See NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, North American Champion Ricochet, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Kairi Sane, and many more of the hottest NXT superstars. It's NXT Live in Lowell on Saturday, February 9th. Tickets are available